Why is my cam gone? There it is. Hello. Let's see how sailing fits perfectly in Gielinor. This is lore and integration into the game. That's the thing that made the most sense to me. Like, there's oceans everywhere. I'm sure they can build beautiful lore around sailing. So let's see. How's it gonna integrate into the game? Let's start with the video and then go over the blog real quick. I don't think we'll be looking at the blog a lot. The video is probably gonna explain most of it, but I'll just spitball my thoughts here, so. Let's get started.
Hi there, and welcome to the fourth and final part of the Sailing Developer
Oh, this is the final part.
I'm your host, Gnome, and today we'll be talking about lore and integration, or how sailing will fit into the story and landscape of Gielinor.
What was our... Sorry, I'm going to pause a couple times. What was our initial thought on the navigation again, guys? I thought the navigation was good. It was click to move. It wasn't weird. You could do things on your boat while you were going around sea. So I think navigation in general was fine, right? Probably the best blog out of the four. Got me most excited, I even think.
How will sailing fit in with the rest of RuneScape?
So that's going to be the logo? Is that like definite? Looks good.
The world of Gielinor has always had a need for ships. From transporting mass goods, to discovering new places, to conducting naval warfare. The sea has been an essential part in building the world of today. As an adventurer, you've previously brushed against some of these aspects while traveling about.
Oh, I hated cabin fever, man.
Always in tightly controlled, static environments. This changes with sailing, where you.
Wait, whoa, pause. The new skilling interface. Oh yeah, right. Total level will be a bar at the bottom, and then sailing will fit in where the total level is right now. Okay, important detail. So I would train it to level 50, but that's it. I think the early levels of sailing are going to be really quick. I think they're going to make it so that the quest will give a good amount of XP. Then you make a couple boats. They said that hopefully they implement this into the whole sailing skill, but they said that during, I think it was no, it was the previous one where they talked about training sailing. They said something like there is going to be chartering maps. So if you go to places and you can like, just like, I guess, Legends Quest, but I don't really want to compare it to Legends Quest because that got negative connotation, but you had to visit certain areas and you could chart the map and that would give XP. And I think those things are going to speed up the early level like very well. Yeah, so it's like a one-time XP drop to just skip the early stuff.
It's important to avoid cluttering up our shores or getting you caught in narrow causeways, so the ocean will be divided into shallow, open, and deep seas. Small boats will work best in shallow waters like Sarum Bay.
They're gonna need to, sorry for pausing again, but they need to make this a lot bigger or like instanced or something, because this doesn't seem like maybe one ship could pass here.
You'll be able to access the ocean at ports,
okay, cool.
which act as bridges between current land masses and the newly traversable oceans. Sailing will bring newfound life to ports, as they'll be where you obtain, store, upgrade and customize your ship, trade mercantile goods, and pick up port tasks. This will inevitably require some changes to these
I'm
areas,
actually excited, man.
but the old school team's committed to integrating them naturally and ensuring the places you already know and
There's
love
plenty
don't
of
stray
ports,
too
so
far from their current design.
that's going to be easily
Although you may always
implementable.
sail solo, you'll also be able to put together a crew at a port to help you out at sea, which can include other players or a mix of new and pre-existing NPCs. For example, perhaps you can convince Vanica or Duradel to join you if you're a proficient enough Slayer, or if you're truly evil, you can get Evil Dave to leave his mother's basement, or if you've completed Song of the Elves, Elena might be willing to join you on your nautical adventure.
I don't know if I like that. Like, pulling the NPCs out of their natural habitats kind of ruins immersion instead of make it integrated, right? Like, keep Duradel and Dave and all them in their basements and in their... Why would you be able... Just new NPCs, bro. I don't really like that, personally. I think that's weird. That just completely... That's like... I don't know, it's so out of place. That ruins the immersion, in my opinion.
Speaking of quests, if you're an experienced adventurer, you've been to islands like Ape Atoll through Monkey Madness and Lunar Isle through Lunar Diplomacy, that with sailing are located on easily accessible waters. To deal with these, unless there's a mooring point like a dock or port on a quest-locked island, you won't be able to land there. Places that do have mooring points will be handled individually, like the Pirates of Mostly Harmless shooing you off with cannonballs unless you've completed Cabin Fever, or Elvark herself driving you from Crandor unless you finish Dragon Slayer.
Cool.
Similarly, you've already experienced some sailing-like content through Bon Voyage and Cabin Fever, which, with sailing, will be adapted to use the new skills mechanics. While any quest with sailing-related content...
Wait, sorry, I just zoned out. Did it just say they would rework Cabin Fever to work with sailing? I also think that quest should give sailing XP if that's the case.
will be adapted to use the new skills mechanics.
Good, yeah.
While any quest
Rework
with
that quest.
sailing-related
That's nice.
content will not have additional requirements, they will give a sailing XP lamp upon completion with a minimum level
He
to
calls
use.
it. He calls
Another
it.
existing system to tackle is whether your ship sinking should qualify as a player death, particularly in regards to death costs in
Ooh.
hardcore Iron Men.
Oy, oy,
Just
oy.
because your ship sinks doesn't necessarily mean you die too. The game could rescue you and send you safely back to shore.
Yes,
This is
please.
still an active area of discussion that will be
Yes,
further
please.
investigated. if
Imagine
properly
a dangerous skill, bro. The entire skill would be dangerous for hardcores. Dude. Yeah, I think so. I think if you've already completed Cabin Fever and Bon Voyage, you can just talk to the quest NPC and they'll give you the lamp. I think that's what they also said.
Another concern for all Irons is whether they can join another player's ship, and therefore bypass certain sailing and ship requirements for accessing new areas and activities. Similar to player-owned houses, this will not be possible for Irons.
Oh!
If you need help, you can instead recruit NPC crewmates or rely on your group Iron team.
Irons have to train sailing solo. Imagine that. Another Iron Man catered update. I think that's actually good. I think raids and stuff set up bad, not necessarily bad because it's really fun to do raids with main accounts, but Iron Man integrity and all that. I feel like this skill, if you can't go on other people's ships, I think that's fair. I think that's good for Iron Man integrity.
In the last blog, we introduced the Tortugans, the turtle people who live on the Great Conch. They're a secluded community led by their elders, where each individual has a role to contribute and takes great pride in their work. Tortugans paint their shells with their life's achievements and craft a spear as a rite of passage during adolescence, dedicating themselves to their creation as a lifelong, universal tool of peace, war, and expression of identity. The next faction is the Barracudas, a group of thrill-seeking sailors
Couple of
who run the
factions?
Barracuda
Cool.
trials for you to test your mettle. Rather than a formal group, they're a mix of people with a shared love for the challenge of sailing dangerous waters, led by their founder.
Wait, the man just rolled up next to Temporos.
Master of the seas. If you're looking to improve your navigational skills, you'll find them quite open to beginners, instilling you with their same drive for self-improvement. You may also find the alliance of merchants running about at ports,
Cool.
through whom flows incredible wealth and opportunity. They'll buy exotic resources from you, sell you unique items that can't be found elsewhere, and offer you pay for completion of port tasks.
Sounds cool.
Behind the curtains, however, it's quite the cutthroat business, right?
Wait, whoa. Cat Duel Arena Pog! Is this the Rat Pits rework that we've all been waiting for?
Quite the cutthroat business, rife with bribes, privateers, and shady deals in a reckless race to the top. Finally, we have the Shipwrights Association, who manage the ports of Gielinor and provide services to seafaring adventurers, like retrieving your ship from another port or from out at sea to your current port, repairing damaged ships, recovering capsized vessels, helping to construct low to mid-level facilities, and selling schematics for you to improve your ship.
Cool.
Now, the seas are home to more than just factions of humanoids. On your adventures,
Whoa.
you may just chance upon a deadly sea legend, creatures, people, or mere forces of
Wait,
nature.
that first one, did
at
we
the
already
heart of
see
many
that?
Whispered tales. These legends will be encountered during sea monster hunts, quests, or simply through exploring the oceans. They include the Sharhai, an unknowable underwater horror that preys on unsuspecting vessels.
Oh.
The Dark Dame, a dreaded pirate ship manned by an infamous crew who will inexplicably appear and disappear at will. And Rokar the Thunderbird, a gargantuan winged beast who only appears within the most terrible thunderstorms at sea.
Okay. I like two of them. The Thunderbird I'm not too sure about, but people are gonna like it. People are not gonna like it. That's fair. Let's quickly go over the blog because I feel like we basically know everything, right? My final thoughts would be nice. I think that part was just gonna be a given and was gonna be good regardless. Were there any things that I did not really agree on? Let me go through the old PowerPoint here. See, oh yeah, this is what I did not like. The fact that we can bring familiar faces onto our vessels feels weird to me. Just, I want new NPCs there. It feels super out of place to have Evil Dave leave his basement. Like, that's the whole shtick of him. I feel like this is kind of forced to make sailing feel familiar. You can bring people that you know along is weird, in my opinion. That's the only thing I've got, I think. The rest was great. Hardcore Ironman and Group Ironman will not lose their status. Would be good. They're still investigating whether they want to do that or not. If your ship sinks, your Hardcore or Group Ironman might die. That's crazy, dude. No, please. I don't think they'll ever do that. I think they want as many players to experience sailing, so they're not going to do that because hardcores wouldn't play it at that point. Apart from that, they were going to be giving Bon Voyage and Cabin Fever a rework so it works with sailing, and will also give the players XP lamps for sailing when completing that quest. That's great. And then you've got the different factions that you'll find at sea, all the different associations. I can't say that word. Associations. The Alliance of Merchants, the Shipwrights Association. You've got the Barracudas and the Tortugans. I feel like that has plenty of room to expand, so that's great. And then there's a couple of random events, being the Griffins, which I didn't see that in the video. They will live high up in the Great Conch, which is where the Tortugans are. They prey on the Tortugans by picking them up and dropping them from great heights to split their tough shells. Jesus Christ, that's grim. Those Axis will be able to fight Griffins. However, as a fun twist on the weight system, you'll have to make yourself heavy enough to not get picked up. Ha! That's pretty cool. That's a cool mechanic. 2 new beasts to slay. The Sharhai and the Thunderbird. Personally not a fan of the Thunderbird, but that's completely subjective, so take that with a grain of salt. And then the Dark Dame, a dreaded pirate ship that seemingly appears and disappears as if by magic. Cool. All in all, I think they've convinced me enough to vote yes on this skill. I don't know what you guys think. YouTube people, leave it in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. And I'm excited to cover the poll that will decide all of it, whether or not sailing is going to be a thing in RuneScape. And it's finally going to be a skill after 10 years. First of all, be amazing marketing for RuneScape. And if we want the games to succeed, this is the best marketing opportunity they'll get in a very, very long time. I think it could attract a lot of new and old players. I think it looks good enough. And especially the future of the skill sailing is endlessly expandable. So we are gonna get a lot on release, but we're gonna get so much more in the next 5 years. When a lot of skills are locked into place and they're just kind of trying to come up with mini games for it, sailing is just infinitely expandable and DLCable. You know what I mean? Like, how far can you expand fishing? But you can always integrate it with sailing and make other skills broader and more fun. I don't know. It's gonna be good.